to position ourselves in order to support and help those who come to us for assistance, who are quite many. As we know, many of the illnesses that we come across these days are related to our lifestyle and our diet. And our nutritional supplements from Neolife, our home care cleaning products from Neolife, all go towards helping us to have a healthy lifestyle. So as you might have seen from your invite for today, my session is going to be children's supplementation. And this is because I think at the beginning of the year, those of us who have got young children are probably very focused on how to get our children started well for the new year to achieve their own goals. I think most parents have hopes and plans to help their children to grow up into appropriately fulfilled, self-governing adults who will be able to make positive contributions to our society. And of course, in order to do that, one of the key elements we have to focus on is to educate ourselves and our children about good dietary and lifestyle choices, which are important for their good health, their good mental health, their good bodily health, all of which play an important role in achieving all the other goals that we have in mind. If we are sickly or unwell or not feeling up to things, it does impede our ability to focus, it impedes our ability to get up and get going in achieving our goals. So as parents, we do have to have this in our minds, how to ensure our children's good health. And my session today is to give some points on how Neolife can contribute to this. The first thing I wanted to say is that our care about children's nutrition starts from even before we have the children. So even before pregnancy, a good nutrition is important because it is a part of general health. Remember that our children take to be prepared for independent life, and this means that a lot of demands are going to be made on us as parents. So of course it requires that we ourselves, as we plan to start or to grow our families, we should prioritize healthy dietary and lifestyle choices. Even as we are thinking that we'd like to conceive a baby, we should be thinking about making sure that our bodies and our homes are for the well-being of the family that we are going to grow. Some of the lifestyle points that we might want to keep in mind, of course, is opting for healthy, minimally processed foods as 80% of our diet. So if, of course, we cannot get it right 100% of the time, even though we try very much, but 80% I think ought to be good enough, that most of the time, most of our meals and most of our lifestyle choices should be ones that support good health. We should, of course, incorporate activity or exercise in each day, especially if we have got a sedentary job or maybe we have got work that requires us to sit for long periods or if we travel a lot for our work. So try to incorporate activity and exercise into each day as far as possible. Then, of course, the planning of growing or starting a family should be a good inspiration to eliminate harmful habits and minimize our toxin load. So we should try to eliminate, maybe if we're in the habit of smoking or excessive use of alcohol, this could be a good inspiration to stop that so that we prepare ourselves for the very rewarding but very demanding job of parenting. So what supplements can we use as general supplementation for a healthy lifestyle? We can start with the optimal choice, which is ProVitality, that provides us with a good range of nutrients that will fill in any gaps that might be in our diet. If ProVitality is maybe a little beyond our pocket, we can opt for Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus. And if that is still a bit high for us, at least we should be using TreeNN. So TreeNN is the absolute basic supplement that we should all be using. And this is because TreeNN takes care of our health at a cellular level, which means it's taking care that each cell in our body is actually able to function well. So by taking Tree and N, we are going to benefit from all our other nutritional choices, good nutritional choices. So therefore, for people generally planning or starting or growing a family, those will be our basic nutritional supplements, Pro-Vitality or Formula 4 or at least Tree and N. Remember that both Pro-Vitality and Formula 4 contain Tree and N. So if you are using Pro-Vitality, you don't need to buy Tree and N separately. If you're using Pro-Vitality, it's not really necessary to use Formula 4. So you can choose from those three what is going to fit into your budget. Then we go to the early stages of our children's lives, and that is what can we offer for expectant moms. So lifestyle and nutrition during this stage of expecting or during pregnancy should cater for the needs of both the growing baby and the mother herself, because again, pregnancy is a highly demanding period for the mom, both physically, her body, as well as her mental and emotional states. So for that reason, the lifestyle point we'd like to bring to your attention here will be resolve or minimize stress. We know that stress has got many harmful effects on our health. So try to resolve any stressors in your life or minimize them if you cannot eliminate them altogether. And this is because stress can have adverse effects on the health of the mom and thereby make pregnancy more difficult than it needs to be. And maybe can even bring about tension within the family and so on. So try to resolve or minimize stress. We also say, as far as possible, choose healthy, wholesome food. I know that during pregnancy, we tend to have all kinds of cravings, many types of cravings, and sometimes the cravings may not be healthy. As far as is possible, try to opt for healthy, wholesome foods, because the cravings is usually a message from the system that there is something that is lacking that the body is looking for. So it's not an indicator to, go into habits like drinking sodas and fried fast foods and junk foods and so on. It is a time to scrutinize your diet and see what is it that is missing that your body could actually be craving, be trying to tell you through those cravings. And also remember, by eating unhealthily during pregnancy, this can be the beginning of a struggle with a healthy body weight. The unhealthy weight you gain during pregnancy can be quite difficult to lose. And some of the bad habits that we pick up can also be quite difficult to get rid of later. So as far as possible, good, healthy, wholesome foods. Resolve any lifestyle-related health issues as much as you're able to. So this may not be entirely possible, but keep an eye on any health issues that are pre-existing and see if by making certain changes and using our supplements, you can actually resolve like pre-diabetes and so on. Then we also recommend that eliminate or avoid all known environmental toxins. So for example, things like plastic residues and other toxins such as tobacco smoke, the use of alcohol and other drugs. This should be eliminated because they not only harm the health of the mom, but can also have adverse effect on the growing baby. Then from Neolife, we've got a good compact number of products that we recommend as the mix for the expectant mom. And here we start with multimineral alfalfa, which is a mineral preparation that contains a good number of minerals that are going to help with the development of the baby's skeleton and body, as well as maintaining the mom's tissues as well. So multimineral alfalfa, very important. We also recommend vitamin B complex, which is very important in different types of developmental processes. For example, the development of the brain and of the spinal cord, and also to avoid birth defects. So vitamin B complex, very important for expectant moms. Then we can go on to also recommend ProVitality, which is going to provide them with omega-3 salmon oil, which also plays an important role in brain and eye development. It will provide them with carotenoid complex that will help them in the development of the baby's vision, and will also prevent premature uterine contractions. We recommend also in ProVitality, which contains threonine that will support overall cell development and health, and also provide raw materials for the many hormones that will be in the mother's system to maintain and sustain the pregnancy. And last of all, we recommend Aloe Vera Plus, especially if the mom is struggling with morning sickness and nausea, because not for everybody, for a good number of people, Aloe Vera Plus helps to reduce nausea. If the expectant mom is struggling with nausea, we can add Aloe Vera Plus. And if it works well for them, then they can use that because it is not harmful to them. Then from expectant moms, we go to this next stage, which is the breastfeeding stage. And here I cannot recommend breastfeeding highly enough. It is an extremely, extremely beneficial thing to do for the newborn baby and for the early period of the baby's life, because breast milk is not only the perfect food for babies, it also carries many physiological and emotional instructions from the mother to child. So things like messages for their immunity and other types of messages, as well as nutrients, are going to be contained in the breast milk. And I do know that some moms will struggle with breastfeeding, but I really recommend that as far as possible, get as much support as you can get from within your family or your community to establish breastfeeding. It is very, very important for both yourself and for your baby, and will save you a lot of difficulties in the baby's early and even later life. So breastfeeding moms, we recommend you to drink plenty of clean water, but also, as far as possible, bone broth is an excellent drink for breastfeeding mom, as well as the nutritious soups that you can make using bone broth and vegetables and such like things. So this is because a lot of fluid will be going out with the breast milk, as well as nutrients. So remember that you need to make sure that you're well hydrated to cater for that. Then another important thing about breastfeeding is that it plays an important role in helping the mother to return to a healthy body weight later, because, for example, it will help to shrink the uterus after giving birth and thereby contract the waistline back. And in addition to that, you will establish for yourself and your baby a very nice bond where you are providing them not only with nutrients, but also with security and a sense of belonging. So the breast milk, as I've said, forms an excellent foundation for your baby's immune system. And this is going to be a key role for all of their lives. Then the Neolife supplements that we recommended in the previous stage of pregnancy will be continued with here. So we continue with multimineral alfalfa, because remember, now, although the baby has been born, you are going to need to replenish your own minerals, but at the same time also provide the nutrients required for breast milk. So multimineral, we continue with that during breastfeeding. We also can recommend Neolife Shake to supplement good quality proteins, especially if maybe you are struggling with protein intake. But so it may or may not be necessary. You can assess how well you are eating and whether your ability to produce breast milk is okay. Then you continue also with ProVitality, and then we now look at the next stage, which is the stage of toddlers and early childhood. So we are talking about 2 years plus. You remember, as I said, we really recommend breast milk above all as a fast food. If at all possible, breastfeeding should go on for at least 1 year, and even as much as 2 years to establish the baby well in their early childhood. Then in the lifestyle side for toddlers and early childhood, we recommend that you delay introduction of sugar or sweetened foods or drinks, as well as refined carbohydrates as the weaning food or the first food. You will notice that we have a lot of baby formulas in the market, but remember that when there are many baby formulas in the market, they are all trying to make their food extremely palatable for your baby so that your baby likes it and takes it best. Unfortunately, some of the methods that are used to make the food palatable could be starting your baby in the bad habit of craving sweetness as the main flavor in their food. When we think about the fast foods, remember that the fast food is going to lay the foundation for the child's ability to have a broad spectrum of flavors that they like. You might be interested, for example, maybe just as a point here on the side. In my culture, we have got some very bitter things that we eat. So, for example, we have got bitter leaves that are eaten as vegetables. And often people might wonder, why are you eating something that tastes so bitter and unpleasant? And a lot of these bitter vegetables actually are excellent for the liver. And our ancestors, in the course of recognizing different types of foodstuffs, added this to their diet because of the health benefits that bitter foods actually have. Sour foods also have got their part to play. So if the baby is introduced to sugar very early, you may find that they reject all different flavors. But if we postpone this as far as possible and introduce fast foods as normal foods that the families will eat, so for example, things like vegetable soups, things like fruits which are not too sweet, this will help the baby to develop a broader palate, that is, an ability to appreciate different types of interesting flavors. And later on in their life, they will be able to eat healthy foods without struggle. So just delay the introduction of sugary and sweetened foods and drinks for this reason. Things like bone broth and vegetables, soups, and so on can be excellent fast foods. And from there, the baby can be introduced to normal family food. As far as possible, avoid the unnecessary expense of baby formulas, because a lot of them are supposed to replace the most perfect food, which is breast milk, and many others have got additives, have got too much sugar or a mix of sugar and salt and so on. So highly recommend that you start your baby with normal food that the family eats. If the family is eating junky, rubbish food, then maybe it's an important thing to abandon that and focus on better diet choices. Neolife has got supplements that will help at this stage, that is the early childhood and toddler years. We have got Liquivite, which is a supplement for little ones that is in liquid form. And then we also have Neolife Shake. Again, as I say, the first choice is breast milk, but as the babies grow, we can then introduce Liquivite and Neolife Shake. This especially, I would say, comes into play if, let us say, for one reason or another, breastfeeding is not able to cover the needs of the baby, or for one reason or another, the mom is not actually able to produce breast milk, because I do know there are moms who struggle with producing adequate milk for the baby. So then you can look at supplementation as a backup for such situations. Moving on to late childhood, we are now thinking about age 7 and above. The lifestyle points here are that we should have a good plan to teach our children to eat mainly during meals and progressively reduce or eliminate snacks. Snacking is a very problematic habit once it is established, and it is difficult to get rid of. We can start helping our children by not encouraging them to keep on snacking, rather emphasize eating during meals, eating a balanced meal. If children know that they are going to get a snack and there is a food that is not their best preference, they may then hold out in order to get their snack. But once we train them as they are growing, that meal times is the correct time for eating, and the snacks can just be something, a small healthy item that can help them to get between one meal or another when they're still small. But by the time they're reaching this late childhood, you can actually reduce snacks quite a bit. Then continue with helping them to develop a taste for natural foods by avoiding junk food and other hyperpalatable foods, except maybe on rare occasions, explaining why it is that we only eat these foods from time to time. This is because they taste good in our mouth, but they don't work well in our system. They can be starting us down a problematic road. Then it is important to help our children. Sorry, I already mentioned that. The problem with, as I said, just to repeat myself, hyperpalatable foods, that is junk foods and packaged foods and so on, have been made in a laboratory with a specific aim to make them very attractive and tasty and addictive. So if we are starting our children with junk food, we are starting them on a path where they are not able to have a good relationship with food. That is, food is something you eat when you are hungry to supply your body with the nutrients that it requires. It is not an item for comforting yourself or for making yourself feel better. If there is a problem, we should try to solve the problem rather than to try to eat in order to feel good. Our Neolife supplements, again, here we have supplements for this age group where we can continue with Neolife Shake, especially if the child has difficulties with getting enough protein. Remember, at these stages, they are growing very fast and they require a good intake of proteins to support that growth. So you can supplement with Neolife Shake, but remember, a supplement supplements what you're doing. So we don't replace the proteins in their diet. What we do is supplement if we see that we need to do so. Then we also recommend omega-3 salmon oil. Maybe here we can recommend the omega-3 minis, which are a smaller capsule. If the big capsule is difficult, probably will be difficult for them to swallow initially. If they are not able to swallow the omega-3 minis, then you may have to pierce the capsule and squeeze the contents into their food. Then we also have Vita Squares, which is a broad spectrum supplement for them. And then we also have, to support the immune system, especially during those seasons when we tend to have more infections, and also the period when they have just started school or have just gone back to school, as now we are at that stage. You may find that supplementing with VitaGuard and chewable All-C will help with their immune system so that they are able to fight infections, or if they do pick the infections, they don't get severely ill, or they are able to bounce back from the illness fairly quickly. So there are the supplements we can use in that stage: Neolife Shake, omega-3 salmon oil, Vita Squares, and we can add VitaGuard and chewable All-C also. Then we are moving on to older children, preteens. These are the 11, 12, and so on, as they're approaching the age of the years of adolescence. Here it becomes very important to explain the importance of different food groups in the diet, and to also maybe give some information about the health problems that are linked to junk food. For example, things like acne, things like overeating and obesity, and so on. It's by this stage, this kind of information should be given so that the child knows why it is that their dietary choices actually are important. Then the supplements that we can have at this stage will be Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus, but I think Formula 4 is okay. Again, the capsule here is a bit big, but I think by this age they should be able to swallow it. And then Neolife Shake can be continued with. And then omega-3 salmon oil also we continue with that. And multimineral also is very important in this stage as they are approaching the age of puberty. We will need to support them in, for example, girls may start having menses, which means they'll be needing to replenish their mineral from the losses by using a supplement like multimineral. Boys and girls also can undergo very rapid growth at this stage, and so multimineral plays an important role. Together with Formula 4, you can add Neolife Shake. And of course, omega-3 salmon oil, we know it to be brain and blood health foods. So this should be there for them. So Formula 4, Neolife Shake, omega-3 salmon oil, and multimineral are key. If a child is seeming to be lethargic and lacking energy, I would also recommend adding vitamin B complex. Okay. Then now we are on to the teen years, and here by this time, I should imagine that the education of a child on the importance of their diet will have been underway. We also need to help them to start learning how to prepare basic meals if you had already not done that. So this is a good activity during school holidays and so on, or weekends where that is possible, so that they learn how the basics of preparing food. And this is because we are becoming more and more wary of the food, fast foods, prepared foods, prepackaged foods, and so on. It is a good thing to teach our children the basics of preparing food. And I know culturally we tend to do this with girls, but given that our culture nowadays, we need to teach both boys and girls about the basics, the rudiments of cooking and preparing food. And they need to be aware, both boys and girls need to be aware about the importance of healthy nutrition and healthy diets. We can also explain to them the reasons why we give them supplements, just some of the things that might make it important for them to supplement with our nutritional products in their diets. So educating them in pre-adolescence and adolescence is always a good thing, so that they can internalize this information and not be rebellious, thinking that we are simply doing these things inexplicably. I find that a lot of difficulties with adolescents and pre-adolescents can be avoided by having good explanations and good education about things, because in effect here what we are doing is setting them up for a healthy life in the future, and they will be the ones who will be living in that future. So for example, our children now are mainly not living at home most of the time, and they need to have had this information about their dietary choices. And as parents, we give this information. The child, when they become adults, will make their own choices, but you will have done your part by giving them this information as they are growing up. So for the teens, we recommend Formula 4, continuing with Formula 4, and also multimineral alfalfa and Neolife Shake. Again, because the teen years are quite demanding on the system, I would also add their vitamin B complex that helps with energy and also helps with boosting the moods. One of the things that happens in the teen years is there is a lot of hormonal upheavals that happens in the life of a child, and they may find it difficult to control their moods and their temper. And vitamin B can actually play a very important role in helping them to calm themselves down and so on. Of course, supporting them as family members in understanding that there are changes that are happening in their bodies which they don't understand and could be throwing out their mood and so on. We need to be a lot more patient than probably we were when they were little, because now they are able to express themselves maybe negatively, and it may cause upset in the family. But I think the best thing to remember is that they are the ones who are going through adolescence. We are already adults and can try to be more patient with them and explain things to them that are going on with their bodies and why they may be feeling a bit out of sorts or a lot out of sorts, depending on your specific adolescent. So I see that our time is running out. I just wanted to share with you an interesting thing that I learned last week. A person was speaking about the 8th of January. Apparently, as a result of some research, 8th of January has been declared Quitters Day. So that is the day when people who had made New Year Day resolutions, people who had big plans for the new year, they start abandoning those plans on the 8th of January. That is at the end of the first week of January. Unbelievably, 80% of people seem to do that. They slacken off. But the fact that you are here with us today, the fact that you are building your business, means that you do not need Quitters Day in your diary or in your calendar, because you are not intending to quit. Your dreams are your own. Your goals are your own. You have set them yourself, and you are going to be the first beneficiary of them. So I think that there's something very cynical about declaring that a certain day is Quitters Day. Does not mean that we need to quit. What it means is that there will be a lot of dream stealers who are out there waiting to tell you that, I told you this thing wouldn't work, or I knew you wouldn't be able to make it. Remember that in New Life, every month we begin afresh and we set goals and we work towards what we know we can achieve, because we have seen it achieved by others. And we know that anytime that you are making a success of your life in New Life, not only you are benefiting, but all the people who come through your hands, whether people with whom you help with the products, with the education, with the business opportunity, you will be leaving a trail of better lives behind you. And that is why we should never quit, and Quitters Day should be something that makes no sense to us, because it really does not make any sense. And so with that, I want to wish you the best as we finish the month of January, that your goals will be achieved, and that remember, each month we start afresh and we do what we do best, which is to make the world a healthier, wealthier, and happier place. So Pascal is right here beside me, waiting to take you through the business part of today's session. Thank you very much for spending your time and your data on our session for today. Here is Pascal now.
Thank you very much, Betty. I didn't know the 8th of January is a Quitters Day. That's really